Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, I have a bunch of new, very stunning, some of them details to share about the Jeffrey Epstein case. This includes news about a Ghislaine Maxwell prison cover up. I also have news about Melania Trump being sued in relation to the Epstein case. So, first up is news that broke. This was about a week ago, this came out. This is about Epstein's cell where he died. CBS News did an investigation. They found that it wasn't properly preserved as a crime scene. So I'm going to turn on my volume here. Check this out because this is just stunning and just non-credible. This is unbelievable in the truest sense of the word.
News has obtained 90 jail cell photos from the day Epstein was found dead, some of which have never been publicly seen before. In 2019, Epstein was found dead at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, and it was quickly ruled as a suicide, but an investigation of jail cell photos by CBS News, working with forensic experts, has raised serious questions about the New York Medical Examiner and the FBI's work, including a failure to preserve the scene, log evidence, and run basic forensic tests. Items moved around, including a mattress, which is seen on the floor in an earlier photo, but appears on the bed in another photo. And while the investigation did not contradict the official determination of suicide, it does raise questions about what was done to rule out the possibility of murder.
So you're telling me that this happened in a prison, right? For a high profile inmate, not a single law enforcement officer had the training or just the common sense to preserve a potential crime scene. Really? That's what they're going to have us believe. Like I said, it's not credible. It's just such bullshit. Next up is very disturbing news that Epstein was apparently friends with the main prosecutor who handed him that sweetheart deal back in 2007. And, oh, by the way, failed to follow the law and inform the victims before they gave him that obscene plea deal. So this was not Alex Acosta. This is a different guy. This was recently revealed in documents that Epstein's estate handed over to the House Oversight Committee. The documents included Epstein's calendars, and they showed that this guy you see here on your screen, that is U.S. Attorney Matthew Menschel. He had meetings and dinners with Epstein in 2011, 2013, and 2017. So well after this guy is a known child predator. And members of Congress said that there's a photo of Epstein and this Menschel guy on a ski trip together in the 2000s. Now, they did not share the photo, but, this guy's denying it. Menschel is denying it. Oddly, he left the Justice Department in 2007. So after giving Epstein this sweetheart deal, and his accomplices too, remember, they gave them a pass, he leaves. Now, again, Menschel denies going on that skiing trip, and he told the Miami Herald, quote, "I had no business relationship with Mr. Epstein at any point, not before, during, or after my tenure at the U.S. Attorney's Office." What he doesn't deny, though, is meeting with Epstein. So that tells you everything you need to know about Menschel. I mean, who meets with, has dinner with a known child trafficker? Especially when you're someone who is in law enforcement. You are someone who swore to uphold the law, and yet you're going and having meetings with this guy? Are you freaking kidding me? Now, if we had a nonpartisan, legitimate Justice Department, Menschel would be under investigation right now. But we don't, so that's not happening. Another Epstein buddy who should definitely be under investigation is Prince Andrew, because in those newly released documents, there were very damning email exchanges, one of which was between Epstein and Andrew. So one day after the photo came out, you guys will remember this photo of Prince Andrew with Epstein victim Virginia Giuffre. This was a photo taken in the home, I think it was in London, if I'm not mistaken, in the home of, what's her name? Ghislaine Maxwell. Prince Andrew, emailed Epstein the day after that photo came out, and he told him, let me see, I thought I had it, but I don't. He told him, we're in this together. And then he also said that they should, quote, keep in close touch and play some more soon. Play what? Exactly. So that was in 2011. That's when he sent those emails. That was well after Andrew claimed that he cut ties with Epstein, and many years after Epstein was convicted and was a known sex offender. Why are all these people clamoring to spend time with this guy? And then, to make matters worse, Prince Andrew's ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, she also was busted with these emails. She apparently emailed Epstein that same year, 2011, and she referred to him as a quote-unquote supreme friend. And then Ferguson told Epstein, quote, I know you feel hellaciously let down by me from what you were either told or read, and I must humbly apologize to you and your heart for that. She's apologizing to the most prolific child sex trafficker that we've ever known. And apparently she apologized after she explained to Epstein that she was forced to publicly denounce him to save her career. So she didn't denounce him. She didn't, slam him because of who he is and what he did. She was forced to. Now, her spokesperson is telling a different story. He's saying, oh, well, Ferguson apologized because Epstein threatened to destroy her family. The spokesperson said he threatened them. I'm not buying it. I am totally and completely not buying it. It seems like if Epstein tried to destroy any of these people, if he tried to destroy any elites that he had dirt on, it would end up being mutual destruction. I mean, play this out, right? If he goes public and says, I have these recordings of these men or this man having sex with a minor, what's the obvious question? Why didn't you go to the police? First of all, why are you recording it? And second, why didn't you report it immediately? Or why didn't you stop it? If this was on your property, you're watching it happen on a video, you didn't step in to stop it? I mean, nobody says anything like that. Nobody brings up that fact. He couldn't implicate or rat out any of these people without being taken down himself. So the fact that they all just shut up and played nice is ridiculous. In any case, apparently Andrew is not going to be a prince anymore. And this is 100% due to these latest revelations. So as you see here, he has agreed to give up his title. He was disinvited from Christmas after this came out. And then he's agreed that he will give up his royal title. So has Fergie. Yeah. Next up, I have the story about Ghislaine Maxwell and that whole puppy princess prison that she's in. So apparently earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal reported that The other inmates are pissed off about Maxwell being at that puppy prison. And she's basically changing things, making it miserable for everyone. So here's the article that they published. According to this article, since Maxwell was transferred to that low security prison, there have been frequent lockdowns. Guards are now there, armed guards. They have officials guarding the main entrance and the rear gate with military style weapons. Remember, this is a facility with like the most she poo poo, Wall Street executives, like people who committed totally white collar crimes, not violent offenders whatsoever, basically almost no supervision. Like they just take strolls on the grounds. I mentioned previously how a couple of inmates just walked off the grounds one day because nobody's watching them. That's the kind of place this is. And now you have people with military style weapons on site. And the other inmates are saying that Maxwell is receiving favorable treatment, including a suspicious covert meeting that she had. And this was with Maxwell and several unknown visitors. So all of the other inmates were locked down, and she went and met with they don't know who. The Journal wrote, quote, on a weekend in mid-August, hundreds of inmates at a minimum security prison in Bryan, Texas, were locked down during their usual time for strolling the grassy campus and visiting with family and friends, all except one. Ghislaine Maxwell, the 63-year-old associate of Jeffrey Epstein, convicted for her role in helping him sexually abuse underage teens. While her fellow inmates were confined to their dormitories after breakfast, Maxwell met with several visitors in the federal prison camp's chapel. And then the article said that Maxwell's attorney declined to comment, that he refused to say who she met with. And an inmate told the Wall Street Journal that Maxwell came back from that secret meeting and she was smiling. So she was very happy about whatever happened in this meeting. And when the other inmate asked her, what happened, Maxwell would only say, oh, it went really well. That's all she would say. Would not elaborate, would not say who she met with. Just, it went really well. I'll give you, couple minutes to ponder that. Who you think it was she met with and how it went well for her. And the inmates also report being threatened by the warden, specifically because of Maxwell. The Journal said, quote, the warden called a town meeting for inmates. She warned that if inmates made threats to Maxwell, put her in any sort of danger, or talked to the press about her, they would be shipped to a harsher facility. And I had shared with you guys a month or so ago, there was an inmate who was transferred after she spoke to the press about Maxwell. And this Wall Street Journal article says there was a second inmate that was transferred as well for the same reason. So someone is clearly protecting Maxwell. We know who it is, right? And there was also this article in the Daily Beast. So the journalist spoke with a prison consultant. This guy does consultation with high-profile inmates. He's Sam Mangle, I think is how you pronounce his name. Anyway, Mangle told them he has never seen a cover-up like this before. He said, quote, the inmates and the staff were warned prior to her coming in that under no circumstances are they to disclose anything that happens with her or to her or surrounding her during her time at Bryan. And he said that two Trump appointees, the Bureau of Prison Director, BOP, sorry, I got hung up on that. So it's the Bureau of Prison Director. His name is William Marshall. And then a deputy director named Joshua Smith They said, or this inmate consultant said, they, quote, really tried to clean everything up, get things moving in the proper direction. So it's my understanding that the directive to move her to a minimum security camp, Brian, came from well above their heads. So this was not the Bureau of Prisons' decision, which we all knew, right? She meets with Donald Trump's former personal attorney, and then all of a sudden she's transferred to this puppy prison. So Mangle is convinced that the Trump administration is gearing up for a pardon or a commutation, which I think we all know. I mean, that's absolutely where this is headed. Next up is this next bit of news from Trump biographer Michael Wolff, I better say, or people are going to have my head. Anyway, he is suing Melania Trump. So as you guys may recall, you may have heard, Wolff had told the press that Melania first slept with Donald Trump on Epstein's jet. I don't know why that set her off, but Melania was pissed off about that. She threatened to sue Wolff for $1 billion for defamation. So he decided that he's going to get the upper hand. So he's using the state's anti-SLAPP laws to get her to back off. Wolff said, quote, "I've written 4 books about Donald Trump and have never been sued. Mrs. Trump's threatened lawsuit is what lawyers call a strategic lawsuit against public participation, a SLAPP lawsuit. Its purpose was to intimidate and silence me, as Donald Trump has done to so many news organizations and reporters. Fortunately, New York has an anti-SLAPP law. This law protects people sued for making statements involving matters of public concern. In order to avail myself of this protection, I choose to begin an action against her rather than have her threats hanging over my head indefinitely." So we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, I will leave you guys with this. A woman named Amy Wallace, she co-wrote Virginia Giuffre's memoir. Now, Virginia Giuffre, you guys all know, she is one of the most well-known Epstein victims. So before she passed away in April, which is also very suspicious, she co-wrote her memoir about her time with Epstein and many other things. She co-wrote the book with this Amy Wallace. Well, Wallace was recently on News Nation, and she said, I know who these people are. I know who the co-conspirators are. I have their names. Wallace said, quote, "Yes, I know who the names are. Virginia knows who the names are, but so does the FBI and so does the Department of Justice. That's why there's such a clamoring right now for the Epstein files to be released." Now, I know there's a lot of people out there who are saying, well, why don't they just say it? If they know who they are, why don't they just come out and tell everyone? It is not that simple. Understand, Epstein's alleged accomplices, co-conspirators, these disgusting men who took part in all of this, they are, by all accounts, some of the wealthiest, most powerful people on the planet. These women have already been through hell. The last thing they want or need is to be sued into poverty, right? And without the government backing them up with evidence, in most cases, it's going to be their word against these men. So, unlike Donald Trump's DOJ, these women don't have the evidence. They don't have Epstein's blackmail videos. Donald Trump, if he was truly innocent, he would say, you know what? I'm going to stand by them. I'm going to release everything. Whatever they need to prove their cases in court, I'm going to give it to them. If I was the president, that's what I would do. I would say, whatever you need. I'm going to meet with all of you. I'm going to show you the videos. You tell me, where you were If these videos apply to you, I'm going to give them to you, and you can go to court and you can sue these men, you can take them down, and I am going to, on a federal level, charge all of these sick fucks. If it's still possible. You know, I mean, statute of limitations and all that. But anyway, of course he's not going to do that because we all know why, right? All right, guys. Anyway, sorry, I see news popping up on my screen. More disgusting stuff from the Trump administration. More laws being broken as we speak. All right, I will let you know when I hear more because I guarantee there will be more. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.